You're listening to a Loot Dummies podcast, LOOTdummies.com. Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons and Dummies, a weekly podcast following a group of friends as they battle across a homebrewed world called Antiriath in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Step into the mystical world of Antiriath and follow as our party adventures across the lands. Solid Grug, half-orc fighter-sorcerer from the wretched valleys of Mek'Zim, played by Taylor. A Learlock Bloodhair, Harengon cleric whose fate seems determined by luck itself, played by Joey. Pomerel the Gatekeeper, Summer Eladrin paladin from the Feywild city of Solaria, played by Seth. And Bodyknock Greenleaf, the halfling rogue with a penchant for taking things that don't belong to him, played by Josh. And last but not least, the creator of our beautiful world, the man of many voices, and our dungeon master, Sam. And welcome back, everyone, to Dungeons and Dragons and Dummies, the podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. If you are enjoying the podcast, please give us a rating and a review on the podcast app that you prefer, and check us out on Patreon. It's patreon.com/LOOTdummies. We have a brand new campaign. You get access to our Discord to talk with us, and you also get some other really cool goodies, including 3D printed miniatures sent directly to your house every couple of months. So check that out. On the last few episodes, the party made it out of the Rotwood and arrived in the creepy town of Pokarit. After some back and forth with the guardsmen at the gate, the party is taken to meet with Father Thurm at the local church in town. Father Thurm seems to have a good amount of power in Pokarit. Before we leave the church, Pomerel asks Father Thurm if we could have a meeting with the king, King Dost Marine. They agree to send the message to the king, and we head over to the Greenwater Inn and Tavern and hang out with Spit Bibley, a small grung barkeep who tells us about some of the ongoings in Pokarit, including mutated animals and things like that have been affecting the local area. After we take a long rest, we head down in the morning for some breakfast, and Pomerel cast a healing spell on the stranger in the corner who passed out drunk the night before and is still there this morning. After speaking with him for a bit and not getting any answers that he wants, he decides to follow the stranger out of the tavern. He follows him down a back alley. Learlock and Bodyknock head over to Eric Erickson's general store to do some shopping, and they notice a strange wooden cart hanging out in the town square with a wooden sign that says Gill's Shade. Bodyknock decides to investigate, and that is where we're going to pick up here.
As you're walking around outside, Bodyknock, you notice this very strange cart. It stands out like a sore thumb in this place because it's covered in very brightly colored and intricate tapestries and blankets and stuff all on the outside, and it's got this like floating stone with a little wooden sign hung on it that just says Gill's Shade, like GIL''S.
I'm gonna snoop around that.
You kind of snoop around the outside and you take a peek in through the window and you just see this figure kind of hunched over a table sitting in the middle of the cart. Go ahead and make me a stealth check.
16. So do I re-roll a 5 regardless of my modifier?
You don't re-roll it, it just becomes 10 plus 11, so 21.
Okay, so it's 21,
Okay. Nevertheless, you're peered in through this window, and suddenly the figure's head just whips to the side and darts his eyes at the window.
I guess I'm gonna knock.
So you go around to the back where the sign and the door is. The door seems to be open. It's like a double door, and it's opened up, and there's just this thick, heavy curtain hanging over it.
Hey, buddy, you know where I can get some bombs?
He says, "Come in, come in. I will tell you your fortune."
No, man. Look, free candy vans ain't gonna happen to me in this place.
I promise you will not regret it.
Is there anybody else outside, like, of the party?
I'm still in the bar.
I'm still inside.
Let's go back to Learlock shopping while you're doing this.
Yeah.
So Mr. Erickson is showing you around, asking you what you want to buy. What else is on your list, by the way?
Mr. Eric, I need a magnifying glass, which you have procured for me. Appreciate
Got it. On the desk. Love it.
Need a bowl worth 1,000 gold, which you do not have.
Don't have. I'm sorry.
And I also need. Do you have mushroom powder?
Mushroom powder. I've got some mushrooms. You could probably grind them into a powder, dry them out, get a pestle. I have pestles. I'm ordering pestle.
Yeah, give me that.
Okay. All right. He goes over. He kind of grabs some mushrooms out of a bag they're hanging. He puts them in a little paper bag
Can you
for
give me
you.
25 gold worth of mushrooms, actually?
25 golds worth of mushrooms.
Yeah, it's a
I
lot.
normally sell mushrooms a pound for a copper. So I don't think I've got 25 gold worth of mushrooms.
Well, give me what you got.
Okay, all right. He takes the whole like hanging sack off the thing and puts it on the counter.
All right, and then, do you have? This is a really specific request as well. Do you have a set of fortune-telling cards or runes or something like that, or knuckle bones or anything of that nature?
No, I don't have anything like that. He kind of looks around the room a little ways. He kind of like leans over and peers out his window. He's like, "What do you need it for?"
Just personal interests.
Well, look, you seem like a nice enough fella. I'm not gonna judge what you're doing. If you really need that, and I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't or anything like that, but if that's something that you really needed, you might could go over to Gil and see if he has something like that. But I don't carry anything like that. That wouldn't be right.
What's not right about it?
Well, it's just not the way.
Okay.
Kellenvor teaches us that life is a journey, a path with a beginning and an end. And if you try to do too much deviating from that path, you're not leading the right kind of life.
All right. Sure. Anyway, what else? Oh, I ask every shopkeeper this. Do you have anything special behind the counter?
I'm not sure what you mean, sir. He kind of looks underneath his counter, and you can tell his first thought is, "Damn, it's a mess down here." It's like I don't believe I do. I'm not sure I understand, but I'm going to say no.
He thinks you're a cop.
Well, what I'm looking for is if you have anything that you wouldn't normally sell to just any old person.
Well, I've got some like gems and like some powdered silvers and stuff like that. Is that what you mean?
Not exactly, but what kind of gems do you have?
Oh, I got a few different things. Here, come over here. And he goes over and pulls out like a little box, like a little wooden box. He opens it up. It's got a nice felt lining on the inside and little like segments. Several different, like pretty well organized gems in this little box. He says, "Look here, I got all sorts of stuff." You look in there, it looks like he's got a few different things.
You have a black onyx in there by chance?
He kind of filters it. Oh yeah, we got a few of those right here.
How much for all of those?
Oh shoot. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. We got 6 of them here, and well, let me double check what those were. I think those were about 75 gold a piece. So I mean that's gonna. I'm sorry, I'm not very good at the math. Give me just a second here. What is that? Would that be like 600 gold? No, that's not right. 70 times that's 300. No, 450. 450 gold.
All right. Wait, was that total or each?
They're 75 a piece.
Oh, 450 total. And you said 2 silver for the magnifying glass.
2 silver for magnifying. Yep.
And how much for the mushrooms and the mortar and pestle?
The mortar and pestle, that's 1 silver. And if you're buying all of these black onyxes, the mushrooms are free.
All right. Oh, let's see what else we need on this list here. That'll do me, and then I'll go pay a visit to old Gil. Where can I find Gil at?
He's just actually right down the street. There is his cart. I promise you can't miss it. Do you just like hand him just like a sack of hundreds of gold?
I have that in my person.
Okay, yeah, he's like, oh, thank you, sir. It's been a pleasure doing business. If you ever need anything else, don't forget, Eric Erickson's is where it's at. You sure you don't want any potions or holy water or anything?
Nope, this'll do me for now.
All right.
Shove it in my bag of holding.
Well, you have a good one.
Thanks, you as well. And I'll go to find Gil.
So while you're headed over there, Body Knock, did you ever push in or did you stay out?
Yeah, you know what? I'll check the place out. It seems kind of rapey, but whatever.
So yeah, you kind of pull yourself in here, and let me get the scene set for you. So there's a big table in the middle of the room that kind of like fills the room. To get around it, you would have to actually like get up on the little cushions that are on either side of you as soon as you go in, and like step over a cushion to go around the table. He's sitting across the table in a big like armchair, and he's wearing this big black robe. It's got like stuff all over it. It's got like ornamentation and really intricate designs on the robe, and he's got a ton of jewelry on him and little trinkets hanging off him. The table is covered in trinkets. There's shelving behind him that's all covered in trinkets and like crystals and books. There's little like plants here and there, some of them dried out and like curing, some living plants that are being tended to and stuff. And it's just kind of a weird scene all the way around.
So I walked into a VW bus, basically. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a hippie meets fortune teller bus.
Gotcha.
He says, "Please take a seat. There's a little stool on your side of the table."
I'll sit down.
He says, "Would you like to have your fortune told, young man?"
I'm going to kind of scoff because Body Knock thinks that's nonsense, but I'll entertain it.
Okay. He kind of like shuffles some stuff, or he moves the candle a little bit. He sets a cup of something he seems to be drinking back behind him. There's still stuff all over the table. There's candle, there's little knickknacks, little skulls and stuff. But the main center of the table is a whole bunch of these little ivory domino tiles, and they've all got the same back on them. It's just a simple little like 6 little line dashes, and he kind of like slides them around like you do shuffling dominoes, and then he pulls back most of them. And the way he pulls them back with like these long gangly fingers, he slides all of them back, and 9 of them stay behind in a perfect 3x3 grid. And he gestures, "Please reveal a tile. Flip it over. Let's see what the fates say."
I'll grab one and flip it.
Okay, you flip it over, and it's an image of a man with a crown, and he's got a sword, but the sword is stabbed into his chest. He says, Interesting. Flip another.
Okay. I'll flip another. This is pretty metal. I like this.
You flip it over, and it's either like a water drop or maybe a blood drop because they are filled in red, and there's 7 of them just kind of in a amorphous pattern on the back of it.
Okay.
Flip one more.
All right. Flippity flip.
You flip one more. It is a single arrow, and it's like the full length of an arrow with an arrowhead and little like slashes on the bottom of it.
Word.
He says, very interesting. Very interesting indeed.
So did I win?
Fate in life is not about simply winning and losing, my friend. But it is about what your life holds. And this tells me it's not so much your life that's being held, but that you hold others' lives in your hand. Someone important. You will have a choice to end them, should you so choose. If you do, and he taps his finger on the 7, there will be more than the one, he taps his finger on the one with the crown, that suffer the fate.
Oh. Well, you got any weed?
Thought you'd never ask. He reaches back and he pulls out the fattest sack of thick nugs you've ever seen. He says, how many you want?
All right. I'm going to smoke up with this guy and find out what the hell that shit he just told me meant.
Hell yeah.
Okay. You kind of make a spot on the soft couch and get relaxed, start blazing it up. He like crumples some in his tea and like stirs it around, but when he does, it like lets off this like smoky gas.
This ain't weed, man.
Are you sure you can handle this?
He tried to give me that Jeffrey.
Oh man. Yeah, no, it's the good stuff.
So, is he saying, he's a cryptic man, is he saying I'm going to have a choice soon to kill people?
I simply deliver the card's energy. It's you who provide the final grievances.
And tell your gods to speak better English, man. His riddles suck.
This is no god's work.
Okay, I'm gonna get out of this trailer now.
Have a nice day.
If I pass the Lear lock on the way out, I've been telling him, fuck that guy.
Yeah, I dropped some art in of what he looks like, by the way, into the Discord.
I gotta see it.
Me too.
Oh my.
I kind of imagined like Ivan the Ooze from Power Rangers, but
What?
Wow.
That.
No, don't.
I remember it. Ivan Ooze. Oh yeah, he's
Same.
cool.
You know, not terrible. Honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of got the pointy goat.
Yeah, he doesn't have his, maybe underneath the hood, there's some of that going on. Yeah,
Oh,
you do
God.
pass the Lear lock on the way out. Like as you're leaving, he's coming in.
Cloud of smoke.
yeah, I'm gonna be like, bro, that guy's got some weird weed. Be careful.
All right, I'll take note of that. Let's keep on walking towards Gil's cart.
Amazing.
Yes, you walk past his little floating sign. Like I said, it just says Gil's Shade on the inside.
Curious.
Right as you get to the steps, he says, come in.
Are you Gil?
The one and only.
Well, Gil.
Have you come to have your fortune told?
Oh, is that what you do?
Yes, young Lev. Please take a seat.
Fucking don't like that.
It's not what I came here for, but yeah, I'll entertain you.
So he waves his hands over the tokens that were still flipped up from Body Knock's fortune, and when he does, they just come back they're just gone from the table, and he spreads his hand back out with his cloak back over the table, and there's 9 back out there. He says, "Please flip 3, one at a time."
I'll choose the middle row, left column.
You flip it over, and it is a large heart, like a one giant single heart, and it has just like a drip coming off of the bottom of it. He says, "Please, another."
Top row, middle column.
You flip it over, and it's 2 wheat stalks, separated a little bit, but sprouting up. He says, "Please, the last one."
Bottom row, right column.
You flip it over, and it is a woman, but she has coinings over her eyes in the picture. He kind of strokes his beard for a moment. He says, "Whether past or future, I am sorry." He points to the woman. He says, "This is the mother token. It represents actual mothers of us, but can also represent motherly things such as warmth, forgiveness, and kindness. These 2 wheat stalks would be her children. This heart, with the single drip, would indicate that one of them was lost. Have you lost a sibling?"
Yes.
"I'm sorry. Sometimes the fortunes are here to tell us what may come as a warning. Sometimes they are a cruel reminder. But don't let that dishearten you. Because you see this drop here falling from the heart. This is the rebirth token. It shows that from all tragedies rise hope, love, and a chance at a new life. This is the story the tokens tell me, that you are that hope."
Well, that's awful curious. How does this work, actually? Your fortune telling.
It is a message from the spirits.
The spirits.
Those that have passed on can see far more than we ever dream. I simply provide the place, and through you they speak. That is why often those with close losses, that is what appears in their readings, for those are the spirits most close to them.
Interesting.
This is a message from your late sister, telling you to have hope.
Alirlog looks away, sitting there, just kind of. His face changes a little bit, being told that it's a direct message from his sister. Would you be willing to part with these runes as a set? Or do you have a second set, rather?
He waves his hand over them, they disappear. He reaches into his sleeve and he pulls out a little box and slides it across the table. He says, "While they are not free, I would part with them. By the way, I forgot to get payment from a halfling who just left. You wouldn't happen to know him, would you?"
How much was it?
It's only 1 gold per reading.
All right. I'll give you 2 gold for his and mine.
Con man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. He was a spirited fellow.
He is that. I'll give you that.
Yes, I was going to say a good chap, but, well, that didn't seem quite right.
How much for the box?
I'm gonna burn this fucker's trailer down later.
10 gold. These are fine ivory, all the way from Volnamesto.
Does that name ring a bell at all?
Oh man, y'all have never heard it. You can make me a history check.
Why not? 7.
Yeah, you're not sure. You're not even sure. You're pretty sure it's not on this continent.
Can I know how to spell it?
VOLNAMESTO.
Okay.
You don't like it?
I love it. Yes.
Okay.
You have the 2 for the readings, and here's the 10 for the box.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. Was there more you were seeking today?
I think it came more than I bargained for today, actually.
As you're looking around, you see in the back of the room this incredibly ornate bowl with gems encrusting the outside of it, and in it is this pile of rocks and other gems.
That's a fancy bowl you have back there. Would you be willing to come free of that?
Oh, this is a truly special thing indeed. He picks it up and he dumps the rocks out on the table where it's at. They just kind of... He sets it down and slides it across. He says, look, look.
I hesitantly look inside of it.
So you just saw him dump a bunch of rocks out of it and slide it across, but in the bottom of it, sloshing around, is this shimmering black liquid.
He just dumped it out.
He just turned it completely upside down to dump a bunch of rocks out, and he slid it across to you, and there's a liquid sloshing around in the bottom, maybe the bottom inch or so of it.
You just dumped this out, and this liquid's still here. What is this?
This is a diviner's bowl. A special tool. You can use it to look in, see things far away.
Interesting. What is this gonna run me?
It's not a cheap trinket, and since the GM is foolish and forgot to look at his notes of what the things were going to cost, the carved ivory tokens were supposed to be 200 gold, but I forget what things cost, so we'll leave it at the 10 because that's what I said. But this bowl is 1,500 gold pieces.
Oh. I look in the bag of holding. I think of Thane Udnavik's magical frost axe head. And will it to the top of the bag and pull it out.
Oh, Jesus.
What do you think this is worth?
He looks and he says, to me, very little. I have no use for a giant axe. I can see that it is quite magical, but it is not for me.
Can I overhear any of this if I'm right outside of the trailer?
Yeah, I assume you took the weed with you and are just sitting outside smoking your weed.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Actually.
Yeah, you can hear any of this.
I'm gonna peek my head in, and I'm gonna say, "Hey, Alirlock," like kind of nod over to have him come towards me.
Body knock?
Yeah, don't pay this con man's bullshit. I'm gonna cook up a plan. I'll get you that bowl.
All right.
Is everything all right, my friend?
Yeah, I needed to clear my head for a second.
Understood. I have some mushrooms that would help tremendously with that.
Oh, do you? What kind of mushrooms are they?
Very special mushrooms, gathered from the edge of the rotwood. I've ground them into a powder you can mix into your tea.
What is that going to cost me?
It's 25 gold for a dime piece. He pulls out a tiny
Ah,
bag.
dang it. All right. I do need that for recreational purposes, of course. So here is 25 gold, and let me just shove this axe head back in here.
Pleasure doing business. And he takes the bowl back and he slides the rocks into it. Clunk, 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 clunk. They don't make a splash sound. They just dink, 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 dink as he scrapes them in. He says, let's keep this bowl. You and my little secret, okay? This town is a bit paranoid, if you will.
I got the feeling, actually, that that's the case.
Mm. Yes.
But I appreciate your patronage, nevertheless.
And same to you, good sir.
And I will walk out.
Let's skip over to freaking Pomerel. You grabbed a dude by the collar like 15 minutes ago.
Wait, what's Tolly doing?
Go ahead, Pomerel. I'm hanging at the end with spit. Pour me another spit.
Okay. Okay, so we're back over to Pomerel.
You've got Thomas by the collar. You just pulled him off of a wagon. And he's like, whoa.
Thomas, my good sir, where are you going?
I told you I needed to run some errands, man. Nothing, no shade to you. Will you want to come with me? We can run errands together. That's all right by me.
I mean, Thomas, you were just so asleep and wanting to have more drink, and now you're running errands. Where are you going? What are you doing? I'm very curious.
Look, man, I'm just a regular guy. I've got, stuff I gotta do. I got people I need to see. I need to go do some shopping. I gotta go, drop off a few things.
Please be more specific. I have been trudging through the terrible Rotwood for so long, and I'm finally in a city, and I'm curious to do things, and I've never been in a city in the material plane before, and I really want to know what is it that a normal, regular guy, as you say, does.
Well, first things first, we don't hold people by the collar. And he kind of looks around, and you can tell that you've got like a lot of eyes on you at this point.
Oh, yes, that's sensible. Pomerel puts Thomas down.
He kind of shuffles. He's like, look, if you really want to come with me, I'm going to need you to keep quiet, okay? I know you got a lot of armor on. I don't need you to sneak or anything. I just keep your mouth shut. Can you do that?
Pomerel jumps and spins in the air and lands with what should be a super loud, obnoxious landing for somebody in full armor, and there's no noise.
He's like, all right, I'm not sure you're fully getting the picture, but come on. If you want to see what a guy like me does, well, come with me.
Oh, very well. Pomerel just completely head high, like the noble that he is back home, walking through the streets of a bustling city, just continues to follow Thomas, completely just full blazed out armor, just shining.
Chest puffed.
It's the only thing he owns. I mean, it's this or in the buff. So yeah, he's chest puffed,
Yeah.
armor shining, right behind Thomas lockstep.
Might be helpful having a guy like you around. He looks up at you. I got to see some guys that are, let's just call them acquaintances. And now things might get a little interesting, to say the least, but we're just trying to get through it. And we're supposed to pick some stuff up from them and then deliver it to some other people. Now, listen, these guys aren't exactly my friends. In fact, if they found out that my actual name was Thomas, things might get a little bad for us. So like I'm saying, just keep your
Ooh.
mouth shut.
What would you prefer that I call you, Thomas?
Just follow my lead. About that time, y'all walk up to just a really plain door. There's no windows on the building. There's like one little window, but it's got like stuff on the inside covering it up where you can't see it. And he gives a little, who is it? The guy mumbles back, Barleton. No, who's with you?
Barleton? I'm Barleton.
No. No, I'm Barleton. You can just be Pomerel. They don't know you. His name's Pomerel. He's with me. All right, but he's got to leave his sword at the door. He kind of cracks the door open and looks at you. See this big burly guy. He's got a bald head.
Okay, Pomerel will leave his sword at the door. How far away are we from the inn?
Y'all are moving at a pretty good pace. I mean, you're like a quarter of the way across the city. Like y'all moved pretty
Miles?
far. No, not miles. No. So maybe you're a mile. Let's say you're a mile. We'll say 1 mile.
Okay, the question is, can Sunbeam hear me? Because he's 1 mile is my range.
We'll say you're a mile then. Yeah, somebody
Okay.
can hear you.
So Pomerel's been communicating with Sunbeam this entire time. And he says, Sunbeam, I'm very excited. I'm going with Thomas, who's calling himself Bermuda, into a building, and I'm leaving my sword outside.
God, I cannot believe you're doing this without me, man. You left me here at the stable, and you're going on some cool city adventure after we had to tromp through the mud for 2 weeks.
Yes, but you're lounging and eating hay and flirting with revenge and whatever it is that you
God.
do.
It's so boring, and Jeffrey keeps farting on us.
Shush now. We're going in.
Fine. So you guys walk in, he takes your sword, and you walk into this. It's just like totally dark. Takes your eyes a second to adjust to the darkness. You kind of move through this dusty, crowded room. The furniture's like the chairs are up on the tables and stuff. Like nothing's happening in here. You kind of make your way to a back room, and you get back there, and there's just a couple guys sitting around a table. They're playing cards. One of them stands up. Shit, you said Bermuda, made me forget the name.
I forgot it. I didn't write it down. I
What was it, Brundle?
Sure. No,
I wrote it
was
down
not.
now. It's Brundle. B.
No,
not
no.
Brundle. It was not Brundle.
Baramel, something like that.
We're going with Barmel. Bormel. Gosh damn it. You ruined the illusion. Bermuda. I should have wrote it down as soon as I said it. All right, Bormel. He walks up. He says, "Bormel, muscle, here." And the guy just hands him like this burlap sack, but you can tell there's something square inside of the burlap sack. Thomas just nods. He turns to walk away. Says, "Hold on. Did you forget something?" Thomas turns around. He says, "Oh, yeah. So sorry." And he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a little sack of gold and hands it to the guy. And the guy just nods. Y'all leave out the front door.
Oh, that was very boring.
Thomas takes a deep breath. That's just step 1. Now we got to go turn it in.
Turn it in?
Come on.
To what?
Let's go.
What are you turning it into?
Well, we need to make a stop first.
Stop.
You walk a couple more streets, a couple more blocks, and you find yourself in a little alleyway. And this time, he lets out like a long bird whistle. He's like, ooh, but a whistle. And as he does that, the stones in the wall begin to like fold open, like that scene in Harry Potter where they're just like, and they fold open and form a little doorway. And there's a little torch inside. And this is like a non-Euclidean space because you're pretty sure that this is like a townhouse, but the hallway you're looking down goes 100 yards forwards. And so you'll walk in and the hall's closed behind you. You'll walk down this long hallway. You get to the end and there's a doorway. He pulls out a little key, opens it up. Maybe a perception check.
Perception check. 17.
17. You notice on the key, on the face of it, is a crescent moon, and inside of the crescent moon is a harp emblazoned on the key. Trying to think, with you being from the Feywild, if I'm even gonna let you make a check. Make me a history check. It's just gonna be hard. It's unlikely that you would know.
Oh, 13.
Yeah, you're not sure what that symbol represents, but he puts it in the lock. He turns the key and opens the door, and he goes in, and there's some people standing around doing business. There's one guy like repairing some leather armor. There's actually a guy that's injured. He's got like a cut on his arm that's getting stitched up. And then there's a fourth guy. Thomas walks over to him. He sets the bag on the table, and the guy nods at him. He's like, "Good job, Thomas." Gives him a little pat on the arm, and he slides over an identical looking burlap sack with something else square in it. Thomas nods. He takes it. He says, "All right, now we deliver," and walks back out the door, goes down the long hallway.
So Thomas now has 1 sack or 2 sack?
He leaves the one sack
okay.
that y'all got and takes this replacement sack. So y'all go down the hallway again. You go back out onto the street, and you make your way back towards the Greenwater Inn for a ways. This one's a longer walk. You're kind of cutting across the city for a while. You got a little bit of time to chat. He says, "Yeah, we're just trying to do our best in this city. There's a lot of people that are hurting and people that take advantage of that. So we just do what we can to make right.
Who's we?
We're the Harpers. We're a group that
Oh.
tries to improve things. Look, nobody knows that we're operating in this city, but is what they also don't know is that the Zentarum is operating here too.
The what?
The Zentarum. They're a group dedicated to furthering their own causes without any real kindness or heart. They're taking advantage of the poor people here and their fears.
Well, that's just terrible. Should we kill them?
No. See, I'm working an inside angle. They think I'm working for them, but I've been siphoning things off as best I can. Money, time, food, information specifically. Now, if we get in an all-out war, I'm afraid they're entrenched deeper than we know. And it just turned out to be a bloodbath, and we don't have the manpower for that kind of a fight. But we're definitely making progress. We're breaking them down from the inside and helping those that are too weak to help themselves.
So I don't know that Pomerel has any reference point for espionage. I'm just thinking everything he's dealt with is either the kingdom and the elves that live there versus everything else.
Well, and like the way that the Fae do espionage, quote unquote, is like it's on a whole different set of rules, right? Like it's very like tricksy and like it's just different. It's a totally different way of doing things. So yeah, even the Fae that he's dealt with is probably totally different.
Yeah. So Pomerel, I would almost think, is more suspicious of Thomas than he is the Harpers or the Zentarum at this point, because he's going, "Thomas, you are a sneaky, sneaky man." He's going to use his divine sense to attempt to detect good and evil around him within 60 feet.
Nice.
Sure, yeah, kind of wait until you're in a space where it's just like you and Thomas.
Yes. And it would also identify whether there was a celestial fiend or undead there, but it also detects good and evil.
Okay. Yeah, how does that work exactly? Is it just like, does it just do it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you detect a like golden retriever level of good, just like good energy emanating out from Thomas.
Pomerel is put at ease.
Y'all walk on for a while. Y'all come up to another building and says, "Now listen, this is it's going to be a little bit more tenuous than the pickup. So just play it cool, and everything should be just fine.
I do not know what tenuous means, but I am prepared.
I think you got it, bud. He does the same knock that he did on the last door when y'all did the pickup. Guy opens it up. Oh, by the way, they gave you your sword back. They weren't. They didn't hold on to that. But hey, Bormel here for a drop off. He says, go around back. So y'all walk around the back side of the building. When you get back around there, there's 3 guys standing there, kind of with arms crossed. Y'all walk up. He says, hey fellas, do you want me to just put it on the ground here? The guy says, bring it to me. Bormel walks up, kind of hands it to him tentatively. The guy hands it back to the guy behind him. And Bormel starts to turn to go in and says, hold on. Need to confirm the goods. The guy opens it up, takes the little box out, and opens it. Pomerel, you can see he doesn't even try to hide the contents. It's full of gems and coins. The guy kind of rifles through it, and he leans forward, he whispers something in the guy's ear. They close the box, and about that time, 3 more guys step behind y'all and kind of block off the alleyway behind you. And Bormel's like, everything all right here? The guy cocks his head and says, actually, Bormel, everything's not all right. See, you've been doing a good job at moving things here or there, but it seems like recently your deliveries have been having issues with them that we've noticed, and we did a little bit of digging. We found some stuff that we're not real fond of. You see, you say you're Bormel, but last I heard, that wasn't quite what they called you. And about that time, a person comes out of the door behind you, and they're pushing a woman who is tied up with a gag in her mouth behind. And Thomas goes, Jeneth! What? And he kind of stops. He's like, look, whatever's going on, just let her go. You can take me. This doesn't have to end in any sort of situation here. Says, oh, Bormel, or should I call you Thomas? And he looks back at the woman, and her eyes just kind of go big. He's like, yeah, Thomas, I think that's what she said. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to just do a 2-for-1 deal here. Now, this shiny fellow you got with you, what's his deal? Bormel's like, he's got nothing to do with this.
Oh.
He's just a bystander. He just wanted to see around town. He's not involved.
Pomerel's just standing there. He's trying to understand what's happening, and then he looks down at Thomas and he says, my friend, is that woman with you?
He takes a look at her. He's trying to formulate in his head how to lie, and he realizes that they've got her, right? It's too late. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry to you, my dear. I didn't mean to bring either of you into this.
Ah, I see. And I'm curious if they would notice if the command spell, a word, would appear as if it was an attack.
Let me check the command spell, because some of those things don't note until after when the spell ends, they know that you charmed them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Verbal only. You speak a 1-word command. Yeah, I'm gonna say there's a very good chance that the person you're casting it on, people would be able to tell that this is a spell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pomerel was just gonna say, my friend, I do not understand. Are these friends of yours or not?
Pomerel, you're from a weird place, man. I gotta tell you. No, these aren't friends.
Very well. So Pomerel is just gonna assume his nobility, and he's going to stand at his full height, and he's going to look at all 7 of these individuals with pure hatred and glee. Gentlemen, I have not killed anyone that looks like a human in quite some time. I would prefer not to wet my blade today. Why don't you let the 3 of us go? And I'd like to roll for intimidation.
Roll it up.
Oh, 14 with a +9. Holy fuck.
14. So the person holding the wife kind of like does like a back step, but the main guy takes a step forward and he says, "Oh, you don't want to wet your pretty little blade, huh? Afraid you'll have to do it clean job." And he kind of like runs his finger across your squeaky clean chest plate. "The way I see it, you won't have to worry about any cleaning here in just a minute." And he snaps his fingers, and I'm sorry guys, but I think we've got to roll initiative with just Seth here. And we will find out what happens with this random person that you've gone on an adventure with next time. And we'll find out what the rest of the group is doing too.
All right.
Word.
Oh, my poor hand.
All
We've
right.
missed so
That's a
many
good one.
dad jokes.
Oh man. You'll have
Like-
to load me up with dad jokes.
Give me
Yeah,
one right now.
like, how do you row a canoe filled with puppies?
What?
How do you
Happily.
row a canoe filled with puppies?
Yeah, with joy and glee.
With the doggy paddle.
Oh, I liked my answer. Misdirection.
Yeah, I do too.
The doggy paddle.
With a
Solid.
doggy paddle. That's pretty good.
All right. Good night, guys. That was fun. That was a
All
good one.
right. Good night.
Nah.
Good night.
Find out what happens to our party next week. Check us out at dndndummies.com. And please leave us a rating and a review on your podcast app. It would mean the world to us.